What's good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I want to break down what's going on with NIO stock and talk about something very big that's going on with their deliveries so far. We have some data that came out that's looking quite decent overall. I'm going to break down how this could affect the share price. I'm also going to talk about something else that's a big warning I have for all NIO investors. But before I break into all this information, before I get into any more details and talk about the deliveries, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. Anyways, let's talk about NIO stock. So one thing that's going to be very important for NIO is we are approaching the end of September, which means October is starting in just a couple of days. And NIO is going to be releasing their deliveries for the month of September and deliveries for the entire quarter very, very soon. We're about to start Q4. It's going to be very telling for the markets, and I can't wait for what's about to happen. But when it comes to NIO, I want to talk about something very important and what's going on with their deliveries. So the registrations just came out in China. I don't have registration data for the last week of September just yet, but I have the data from basically for the whole month, essentially, ending up until September 24th. And looking at the data, we have some very important things to be discussing. So coming down here, I just want to mention that we have from the 18th to the 24th, NIO did about 4,000 deliveries. But up here, I think it says it right here, between September 1st and September 24th, NIO did about 13,900 units. That is very important because when you calculate how much this would be just under 18,000 for the entire month of September if they maintain that same rate. And generally during the last last few days, they tend to do even more deliveries. So we could be seeing something around 18 to 18.5 thousand. If I'm going to estimate this precisely, something like that seems very probable, somewhere around 18,000. I think that's how NIO may end up doing for the month, which is not bad whatsoever. But this could be interpreted very differently based off what we've seen in the past. Now, going forward, I just want to show you guys this. Now, I don't really have this chart updated for like July, August, and etc. As of right now, I don't have it. But it doesn't really matter at this point. I just want to talk about this for now because the previous data doesn't really matter as much. Just look at this from the previous years instead. So I'm referring to like the months of September and October. You guys can see right here. October tends to be a weaker month historically for NIO. You guys can see this in the data from 2021, also in 2020. October tends to be weaker. Also in like 2022 is a little bit weaker than September. So there could be a weak month coming for the month of October going into next month. September also tends to not be that strong when it comes to like massive growth. You can see compared to August of 2022, their numbers were almost identical. They did a little bit better in 2021, and they didn't have the strongest numbers in September of 2020. So September is also not like the strongest of months; tends to be kind of like in the middle. October tends to be a little weaker, and then November and December tend to be very strong months for them. So that's what I think is going to likely happen in NIO going forward for their deliveries. But for September, for this month that's coming out, right? The data is coming out for the month of September. I have the chart right here. This is going to be more telling. So this is the data for NIO. By the way, the light rectangles are for 2022. The dark ones are 2023. So you have the data right here, right? This looks very interesting. September is about to come out. I think there might be a decline in their deliveries. I think they're going to get something around like I said before, around 18,000. It might be a little bit of a slight decline. So the news of them like seeing a month over month decrease could lead to some speculation, different ideas, and maybe some downside in the share price. There's a risk of that. No promises, but it is one possibility. And despite that, just know that look, the month coming, excuse me, the month coming afterwards for October could be a little weaker, but November and December tend to be a lot stronger. So don't forget about that. Anyways, going back to the share price, I am a little bit concerned about this because let's just look at a couple of things. On the 4-hour chart for NIO, this thing could be forming a large like cup and handle, right? Could be forming a cup and handle, but the handle may not be done yet. It could still come back down to these lower levels before getting a big bounce towards like the later months in October. And if this isn't really a cup and handle, we could like zoom in a little bit more and look at the fact that there's this head and shoulders that's very evident and happens to be right before the deliveries data comes out. So the deliveries should be coming out by Sunday. That's when Tesla is going to be reporting them. I'll see if it's going to be a little bit earlier. We're going to have to just wait and see. But anyways, I'm recording this like right before the deliveries have come out. We're gonna see what the numbers look like. It should be on Sunday. Sunday should be the day they come out. If not, if I'm because I'm pre-recording this video on Friday because I don't really have time on Saturday. I'll be back on Sunday to discuss how things are looking. So we'll just have to wait and see how they look. I'll be back with another video by Sunday once the deliveries are actually out. But like I said before, regardless of whether they come out or not on Saturday, I think it should be Sunday when they come out historically. But the point I'm trying to make is this could lead to some downside for NIO. Right, we have a head and shoulders. We have a slight possible decline compared to the previous month that could be coming right here. It may not be looked at in the best of light, especially because there are all these shorts that would love to just pounce on this and take advantage of this for NIO. So if there is a slight decline, if this ends up happening, be very careful, guys. I want to warn you about the technicals looking more bearish. And I don't know if it's a coincidence that there's a head and shoulders right before the deliveries data is about to come out. We might see this thing decline and come back down towards that 8.25 level. There's a risk of that. So I just want everyone to be very, very careful. All right. So if NIO somehow, okay, hypothetically, if they end up surprising and they do like well over like 19,000 deliveries, there's a chance that they could try to invalidate this head and shoulders by continuing to pump and breaking 9.3. If NIO breaks that, there is going to be potential for it, but I'm just not leaning in that direction, just to be honest with you all. I'm not really leaning in that direction. That's just based off like what we're seeing so far. I also want to add that when it comes to NIO, we're going to be watching for how the next earnings cycle is going to affect it, because when you look at SPY and other tickers out there, it's very important to remember SPY has this head and shoulders like pattern that has developed on it, and this could lead to even more downside for the markets. So I just want everyone to be very careful. Now, we also have on the daily charts this 200 EMA, which is acting as support. We may retest this. If that breaks, that's going to be bearish. So I just want to be very careful. What else is interesting is Tesla. Let me just show you Tesla. Tesla has a very similar setup as NIO. Seems like a lot of stocks are following this trend with the head and shoulders like pattern forming. This could be a sign that Tesla's going to tank too, and the whole EV sector, those consumer discretionaries, may follow a very similar trend. So there's a risk of that. I want everyone to just be very careful. I will talk in more details about what I predict to happen, and I will react to the numbers on Sunday. Hopefully, they don't come out as soon as like Saturday when this video just comes out. We'll see what happens, and we'll just be patient nonetheless. But anyways, I will talk about the numbers on Sunday, and we will see what happens from there. Last but not least, for the QQQ, I just want to remind everyone, QQQ is not looking the best. We have a head and shoulders that's still clearly defined, and we're getting rejected off this 200 EMA, so we're going to be watching this all very, very carefully. All right, guys? So anyways, thank you all so much for listening. Have an absolutely spectacular weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Get ready for NIO's deliveries. It's going to be very big for the share price, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Thank you, and peace out.